Ladies and gentlemen, to begin at the beginning in one's approach to political economy and to the evaluation of various social systems, one must begin by identifying man's nature. That is, those essential characteristics which distinguish him from all other living species. Man's essential characteristic is his rational faculty. Man's mind is his basic means of survival, his only means of gaining knowledge. Man cannot provide for his simplest physical needs without a process of thought. He needs a process of thought to discover how to plant and grow his food or how to make weapons for hunting. He needs a process of thought to discover how to light a fire, how to weave cloth, how to forge tools, how to make a will, how to make an airplane, how to perform an appendectomy, how to produce an electric light, or an electronic tube, or a cyclotron, or a box of matches. Yet his life depends on such knowledge, and only a volitional act of his consciousness, a process of thought, can provide it. A process of thought is an enormously complex process of identification and integration, which only an individual mind can perform. There is no such thing as a collective brain. The only function of the government in such a society is the task of protecting man's rights. That is, the task of protecting him from physical force. The government acts as the agent of man's right of self-defense and may use force only in retaliation and only against those who initiate its use. Thus, the government is the means of placing the retaliatory use of force under objective control. It is the basic metaphysical fact of man's nature, the connection between his survival and his use of reason, that capitalism recognizes and protects. In a capitalist society, all human relationships are voluntary. Men are free to cooperate or not, to deal with one another or not, as their own individual judgments, convictions, and interests dictate. They can deal with one another only in terms of and by means of reason. That is, by means of discussion, persuasion, and contractual agreement, by a voluntary choice to mutual benefit. If a man believes that the good is a matter of arbitrary subjective choice, the issue of good or evil becomes, for him, an issue of my feelings or theirs. No bridge, understanding, or communication is possible to him. Reason is the only means of communication among men, and an objectively perceivable reality is their only common frame of reference. When these are invalidated, that is, held to be irrelevant, in the field of morality, force becomes man's only way of dealing with one another. If the subjectivist wants to pursue some social ideal of his own, he feels morally entitled to force men, quote, for their own good, unquote, since he feels that he is right and that there is nothing to oppose him but their misguided feelings. If the stenographer spends all her money on cosmetics and has none left to pay for the use of a microscope, for a visit to the doctor, when she needs it, she learns a better method of budgeting her income. The free market serves as her teacher. She has no way to penalize others for her mistakes. If she budgets rationally, the microscope is always available to serve her own specific needs and no more as far as she is concerned. She is not taxed to support an entire hospital, a research laboratory, or a spaceship's journey to the moon. Within her own productive power, she does pay a part of the cost of scientific achievements when and as she needs them. She has no social duty. Her own life is her only responsibility, and the only thing that the capitalist system requires of her is the thing that nature requires, rationality. That is, that she live and act to the best of her own judgment. This was not the history of capitalism. America's abundance was not created by public sacrifices to the common good, but by the productive genius of free men who pursued their own personal interests and the making of their own private fortunes. They did not starve the people to pay for America's industrialization. They gave the people better jobs, higher wages, and cheaper goods with every new machine they invented, with every scientific discovery or technological advance. And thus the whole country was moving forward and profiting, not suffering every step of the way. Do not, however, make the error of reversing cause and effect. The good of the country was made possible precisely by the fact that it was not forced on anyone as a moral goal or duty. It was merely an effect. The cause was a man's right to pursue his own good.
На краю you say